Exercise with the power. All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is the January 8th, 2025 Board of Trustee meeting, and it is 7 o'clock, and we have a quorum, so we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. Let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have our roll call.
Mayor Cindy Simpson.
Here.
Mayor Brent McWhorter.
Here.
Trustee Andres Esparza.
Here.
Trustee Corey DeBoer. Trustee Daniel Hennick.
Here.
Trustee McManning.
Here.
Trustee David Payton.
Here.
Student Liaison Olivia Jukes.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to amend the agenda by removing the adoption of revised trustee protocols and moving the item to the January 22nd, 2025 workshop.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Okay. So our next item of business is audience business. I just have something I need to read, and then we'll see if anybody wants to speak. No one's signed up. Is there anybody here that wants to speak at audience business? It's under debate. I'll do my little spiel. I'll do my spiel anyway. It'll be fun. Audience business, based on Senate Bill 24-131, prohibits firearms in public buildings with the exception of law enforcement. All people wishing to address the board shall do so from the podium provided in the boardroom, and all comments are directed to the board. Public comments regarding items not on the agenda shall be limited to 5 minutes per person unless part of the formal presentation of, and then public comments regarding public hearing items on the agenda will be limited to 3 minutes per person at the time that the item comes up on the agenda. Special presentations of items not on the agenda shall be limited to 5 minutes. The board appoints a timekeeper. It's usually me or Brent. And then all people from the podium shall clearly and audibly state their name, physical address, and the town business topic they wish to speak about prior to speaking. No person shall be allowed to speak until recognized by the mayor, and requests to the board to accept written information will be accepted at that time, although no action will be taken at the meeting. We can only take action on things that are on our agenda. Written information accepted at the meeting shall be provided in the board packet for our next meeting if necessary. So, based on that, now does anybody want to talk? Okay, we'll move along. So, our next item, where is it?
In your hand.
Oh, yeah, thank y'all. Our next item is the Montezuma County Commission update.
Good evening. Most of the county business the last couple of weeks has been fairly slow. We haven't had a lot of planning or anything going on. We did have a couple listening sessions about the solar farms, basically, because of the resolution that was done in 2015 that allowed them to go on to ag land. We actually rescinded that resolution. It's not that they can't still happen, but now basically, in my opinion, they have to go through the whole process that they should have had to go through to begin with and have a special use permit in order to have that on land. With a special use permit, then when that business goes away, whether it's a gravel pit, a oil well, or whatever, it goes back to ag land. It doesn't stay as a commercial or industrial use that's happening for a short period of time. When it goes away, it goes away, it goes back to ag land. If it's a use by right, the way that resolution was, in my opinion, they didn't have to have a special use permit. Yeah, they had to go through the high impact permit, but they didn't have to have a special use permit, which would not make it go back to ag land when they decommissioned it or whatever. They could do something else, commercial or industrial with it at that time. That's why I felt like it should be rescinded, because I didn't. Eventually, there'll probably be a lot more efficient way to get power than those panels. So we rescinded that. But it's still, I mean, there's still a process they can go through and still have solar projects go on. It just, they can't go on forever on that land. Couple things on the Chicken Creek fence thing. There was a response filed to the charges that they had against them on time. So now it'll go before the judge to determine whether it'll actually go to court, or he'll make a decision about what's there. As I understand, that's what happened. I'm just telling you, I heard today that they actually did file their response, so that was actually filed. What else? I guess you guys know you're proud owners of the CIP is. So, I don't like him sitting behind me. Really, there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, we've been dealing with stuff with the sheriff and stuff, but that's going on.
You have your listening session over here next week.
What's that?
Your listening session over here is next week on the 13th.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know how to, there's some real issues there. Because we did get through without having to increase the general fund budget because of his overspending, because there was enough money in other budgets that was left over to keep our general fund intact without drawing out of reserves again. But right after we got through that, he rescinded his authority to his undersheriff and the other people to run in the monetary part of the sheriff's office. He took it back over. So we'll see what happens. We actually do have some people that are coming in to look at the jail and the sheriff's department and give us an idea of what it should be taken to run this office. And that's going to happen this month. They're coming here in the next couple of weeks to do that.
Okay.
Anyway, so.
All right.
And maybe he's right. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what it takes to run that deal, but we're going to find out. Because it's such a large percent of our budget we need. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Any announcements, staff?
So, first thing we want to do is we want to swear in our deputy marshal.
Oh, this isn't for me?
No, sorry. And no taser for any of us, sorry.
Rats. All right.
And then for the other that, I do have to.
Okay.
Just a little off. I've seen him. He's been pulling people over left and right on the
Yeah.
He's getting after it.
We do now.
It's just Brad with a haircut, yeah.
December? Because writing around. We can.
Right.
I, Thomas Frost,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the ordinances of the town of Mancos,
and the ordinances of the town of Mancos,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Mancos Marshal,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of Mancos Marshal,
which upon I have been appointed.
which upon I have been appointed.
All right. Congratulations. Would you like to turn us back?
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Don't stab it.
A lot of stuff there. All right. Congratulations. All right, so announcements.
Jason, I believe, has two communications.
Okay, the first one is just want to let you guys know that, I completed the project update all of our land use, building zoning forms. Those are all posted up on the website right now. Included some additional technical assistance documents to help you through the processes. Everything will be out in the lobby as well for folks to take a look at. So that project is done. You can check that for last year's work plan. The second one, just really briefly, Mancos School District is going to participate in a CHAPA pilot project. They were selected one of two sites throughout the state to receive additional technical assistance and some gap funding to help make their affordable housing project come to life. CHAPA is going to run this as a pilot, and obviously the hope is if it works here and this other location, which I believe is Leadville, they're looking to make the program permanent statewide, and it's really designed to help small projects kind of get over the line with that gap fund for affordable housing. The bigger projects and the front range of those things happen because of the density involved, but it's really hard for small communities to get these things done. So it's a really good opportunity. I do believe that the board and CHAPA consultants are going to be discussing this project in more detail at the workshop on January 27th.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
A couple of things to follow up on Commissioner Copenhagen's comments about the free landholders. We have a copy of the response that was filed, so I'm happy to email that to you all. It's 50 pages. And basically it is waiting, it's before a federal magistrate to hear. So I'm happy to forward that to you all if you want.
Yeah, I'd love
Yes,
to
please.
see that. Yeah, just
Helps
for
us
some.
stay informed.
I'd
Yeah.
love to know your thoughts after you read the first page of it, so I will forward that to you all tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
Just page one, really. That's all we got to get to. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
There was a few more copies that I'm happy to send you over. It's up to you guys, but it's interesting reading.
Yeah.
Just read the first page.
That look says it all. You need something to be mad about.
Just as a reminder, there's the village board for Montgomery County, Dolores, Mancos, Cortez, and Tribe. That board meeting is being held on January 23rd at 5:30. I do have a couple of them responded, so thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I sent a meeting request, so anybody who's interested can accept it, it'll be on the calendar. Mr. Joe Thine, the CEO of, yes,
What's the last day you need to know about that?
uh,
For attending?
that would be tomorrow.
Thank you.
Because I think I can still add more to it.
Great.
Mr. Joe Klein, the CEO of Southwest Health Systems, will be at the January 22nd meeting to do a presentation to you all, just updating. We're collaborating on a couple of projects, which is really nice. So he wants to come and just give you all an update. So that will be on that agenda. We did officially receive $25,000 in grant funding from DOLA for our IBC construction standards update project. Total project cost is $80,000, so DOLA will pay $25,000 of that. And we are still waiting for signed contracts from DOLA to start that program. So the contractor that you all approved is aware, and we're just waiting for signed contracts. And then I believe, other than that, admin staff, we're still working on your end. So for the next 30 to 60 days, we'll be focusing on 2024 year-end accounting and that kind of thing. And then I don't know, I'm sorry, I did not reach out to you before the meeting to see if you had anything you wanted to share with the board. I don't need to put you on the spot. Next time, we'll reach out to you on the Friday before the meeting so you know what 4 days to prepare. That was it for me.
All right.
So I missed the homework assignment, so I'm gonna do a quick announcement on the school board, just to, because there was some recognition of some students, and so I just want to go over that, and then I'll get into the consent agenda for the
Okay.
next time. So
Okay.
apologies there, but the school got the Eliza Pickerel Route Award for registering 100% of their eligible seniors to vote. So that was a nice accomplishment. They talked a little bit about some AI stuff and a bunch of whole other things, but the big one was the CASBA conference, where the students attended the Colorado Association of School Boards with the superintendent. They each received a certificate of achievement highlighting their specific strengths. So our own Olivia Jukes was recognized for growth mentality, navigating challenges effectively, demonstrating ambition and confidence, and exhibiting the ability to be a lifelong learner and leader. Ms. Phillips is how they said, maybe Olivia knows the first name of Ms. What was that? Rosalinda Phillips was recognized for problem-solving skills, curiosity, seeking answers, offering creative and practical solutions. Adam Martinez was recognized for being civic-minded, caring deeply about tasks and problems, and considering diverse points of view. Jonah Ritter was recognized for integrity, demonstrating high-quality work and participation, and earning the trust and respect of peers. And Tyler Henry was recognized for being a team player, collaborating effectively, demonstrating self-confidence, and offering well-thought-out feedback. So just wanted to recognize them again.
Thanks, thank you. Any other announcements? Okay, all right, seeing none, we will move on to item H, our consent agenda items. Now, this is the first time we're doing this with our agenda. It's not necessarily my first time at the rodeo, but what happens with it, just for the audience to know, is that we frequently see items on our agenda that are not controversial. All the ducks are in a row and they're quacking together, and so they're just things that take up time on the agenda, but they're sort of matter of fact. And so those types of items where there's no controversy can be moved to what's called a consent agenda. And then that whole slate that's shown under consent agenda can get approved with one motion. And it's just a way to help streamline our meetings and that. But when you start doing that, it can be a little confusing to people, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, I wanted to talk about that. So if there's anything that we need to pull off the agenda, any of those kinds of things, just whoever makes the motion, you would make that motion, like I moved to approve the consent agenda minus, with the removal of whatever item. So that's just kind of how we would go about doing that up here. So does anyone have any consent agenda item that they would want to actually discuss?
we need to pull the minutes off to fix a few things from the consent agenda.
Okay. So there are a couple
Just
of typos.
A couple of typos and
Okay.
different people
All right.
needing to be fixed.
Okay.
And most of those have already been shared with Jamie. The first was the meeting was called to order by the mayor pro tem because the mayor was absent. And then I think we had a couple little other ones that we got them fixed. So
I'll fix them with that.
cool.
Okay. So we can just, we'll move that to our first decision item, is
Yeah.
kind of how we do that. We just sort of slide everything down. I'll let you go ahead and make a motion then.
So I move to approve the consent agenda items minus the item 1, approval of the minutes, and move that down to the discussion and action items.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I can't vote. Gosh. Never mind. I know, yeah, where's the taser? Any opposed? Get my act together here. All right, so our consent agenda minus the minutes is approved. All right, so that means that our first item on the discussion and action items are the minutes from last time. And so the things that my compatriot here said, so we had the call to order by Mayor Pro Tem Brent McWhorter, and then there was one of the motions had Daniel making the motion and seconding it. Excellent work. Yeah, J1 was that one. And then there was one thing, the items for the next meeting say the items for December 11, and this is the December 11. So we'd want to change that to tonight. So, all right. So having pointed out the corrections, did anybody else find anything? Okay, so I look for a motion in a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 11th, 2024 with the changes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, all right. Then they are approved with those changes. And our next item is a public hearing for a rezone of 127 Bauer Avenue. And so does the staff report go under the public? Like, do I open the public part right now? Okay, all right. So I will open the public hearing at approximately 7:25. Staff report?
Good evening, board. Yeah, so the applicant would like to rezone the property at 127 Bauer Avenue from commercial to downtown mixed use. Applicant is here if you guys have questions. But yeah, State Built did a full review, which is included in your packet. They recommended a favorable recommendation to Planning and Zoning. Planning and Zoning did their review of this at their last regular meeting. They recommended approval to you guys. And here we are. So overall, the application meets the requirements of code. It meets the intensive parts of our comprehensive plan. So I'll leave it at that. Let you guys fire away with questions, and applicant is obviously welcome to participate as well. So.
Okay. Do we have any, before you take off, do we have any questions of staff?
I'll get a few questions to start.
Okay.
So this is, the impetus for this is because a real estate transaction fell apart and financing wasn't able to be obtained. And so, before I go further, my first question is, do we know if the appraiser reached out to the town during this deal?
That's how it was discovered.
So
The appraiser discovered the zoning of the town, and that's how we discovered that.
So
Hold on,
Sorry.
but we'll wait at
No,
until,
totally.
if it's questions of her, we'll go ahead and
Yeah,
wait.
Claire,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you break the rules. Yeah, and then.
We did, we got a little ahead of ourselves. We got all
Does that
excited.
make sense? Yeah,
I own a mortgage company, so that's why I know how to navigate the whole situation. So I'm curious if the appraiser ever asked a municipality, can it be rebuilt if destroyed? And what was the answer to that question that we gave?
based on our code, the property would have to be rebuilt as commercial, is not exempt from the 60% construction clause.
That's the key.
Okay,
Okay,
but we
hold
can
on,
do a variance.
hold on. Before we go any further, go ahead and state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Clara Moulton. I'm the owner of 127 Bauer Avenue.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
We cannot do a variance for that.
right.
That is not one of the reasons listed in our code. Our code only allows commercial to be rebuilt, or excuse me, our code only allows residential to be rebuilt in the corridor mixed use zone, not in the commercial zone. That,
So I thought there was a property, I believe it was the one by the glass shop, the manufactured house by the animal hospital.
that is in the corridor mixed use, that is zoned corridor.
So that can be,
mixed use.
okay.
That can. This property is zoned commercial.
Yeah, I thought I just had, because I've had experience with this in the past where if the municipality says it can be rebuilt, then the loans are fine with it. But so if you're, and I thought that I had experience where we had done that on a commercial property in the past.
We did, but it was
Mixed
zoned
use.
differently.
So it wasn't zoned commercial.
Correct, it was zoned corridor mixed use.
Got it.
The code is very specific about that, in the commercial zone. So, and in the
Yeah, just some municipalities will, I've had, the appraiser reaches out, they write a letter and says, yeah, it can be rebuilt. It doesn't even need a variance if the town would say so, so that's happened in the past. So I'm just curious, that's why I'm digging in to see what.
Our code doesn't allow that.
I just provided a citation back to that information about the commercial zone.
Got it, okay.
Never provided that. Yeah.
And downtown mixed use was adopted in 2019, kind of seemingly for addressing this maybe. I guess I know, zoning laws they take.
Downtown, well, okay, so, during the adoption of the new land use code in 2019, downtown mixed use was adopted. It's basically just this block here for several reasons. Number one, the biggest reason was due to parking. There's not a lot of parking available, so we needed a separate zone to pull out our parking requirements because nothing on this block, if it is destroyed and gets rebuilt, can have parking. There's just not possible.
Yeah.
And then we've made some other changes later on under the DOLA grant that for housing, that we got a grant to update our code for housing, and downtown mixed use allows housing and commercial. Commercial does not allow housing. So that's why that zone was created. And this property backs up to that zone, so it's not spot zoning. But
So what about the other, and that's the next thing that had me thinking, well, what about these others? We've got a couple next to the school, that are commercial, not downtown mixed use
So
This
each
whole thing is
property is gonna
residential.
have to be looked at separately because, depending on where they are, what zone they're in now, what zone is around them, we're gonna have to look at each property separately. This property qualifies for downtown mixed use for a couple of different reasons. Biggest one being that it's not spot zoning. because it does back up to the
Is it
downtown.
abuts to, yeah.
Mhm.
But if you have a property down Grand that's surrounded by single-family residential, we would not be able to recommend to you that that be rezoned. You would have received a staff report that says, we're recommending that you do this. So, so each property is gonna have to be looked at separately on merits.
As people request. And then if we were going to do like, okay, let's take a look at the whole town, you know, shake it out,
There's a process
see
for
what we
that.
want to do with the zoning, then we can have those public discussions about,
And that's
That
exactly
was
how
on, that's on the list.
Yeah.
We talked about doing
You
that.
guys, we can do some research into that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But for this specific property,
Yeah.
everything lines up according to our code, and that's, we're giving you a recommendation based on the fact that it meets the code criteria. So, for this specific property.
any other questions?
No, I think that was it.
Any other questions from anybody else for the applicant or staff? Okay. Anything you would like to say?
No, just I look forward to this process wrapping up and appreciate y'all working on this.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
All right, so we'll bring it back to the board for discussion. Yeah, oh, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So I'll close the public meeting or the public hearing. What?
If you have no further questions of anyone, you can close the public hearing.
Okay.
If you're gonna have questions for any of us, please leave it open.
Oh, okay. They all shook their head no. So, okay, so the public hearing part of this item is now closed and it's up for discussion and or a motion by the board.
I think it seems like the right thing to do.
Anybody else? All right, anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve a proposed rezoning application for the property located at 127 Bauer Avenue, Mancos, Colorado, 81328. Based on the following, the proposed use is in conformity with the land use code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other properties in the area. And public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhorter.
Aye.
Trustee Andres Esparza.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Bennett.
Aye.
Trustee McMahon.
Aye.
Trustee David Baker.
All right. Passes. So, yes, Heather.
So the applicant can move on, Jason can move on.
Yep.
At the next meeting, you will see an ordinance to amend the zoning for the town.
Yes.
Okay.
But they, in the meantime, they can.
Effective immediately.
Yes.
All right, thank
Maybe you can
you.
revise
And
that deal.
congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
All right. All right, so moving on to our next item. Ordinance 785, Series 2025. Would it be ordinance 785? Already for this? Wow,
We
okay.
don't start over with ordinances from one.
Oh, they're cumulative, okay. It's the resolutions, okay. I was like, wow.
I was
Somebody's
busy at the
been
last
busy,
meeting.
right? That was a good meeting to miss. Yeah, right. Okay, so it's ordinance 785, series 2025, chapter 7, update regarding dogs/animals. Stop.
We talked about this at the workshop, one or two workshops, and so I've included the red line changes that we discussed. I believe I captured them all. If not, please let me know. But basically, this ordinance is to amend our land use code regarding dogs. The impetus for the discussion was leash laws. So I did do some research. One of the items that we talked about at the workshop was an electronic leash. I did some research and I did not include that in this ordinance. I researched Dolores and Cortez and that kind of thing. So electronic leashes are still not allowed in public areas. They have to be on a leash. And it went from, I believe, 6 feet to 15 feet, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the meaning of the changes. But if anybody has any questions or wants me to clarify the changes on there.
And is it 15 feet because that's generally what the extended leashes are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this was originally written before extended leashes existed. So
Yeah.
it's basically coming into new technology with dog leashes.
New technology.
That newfangled technology for walking your dog.
We're in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made it to 1989.
Yeah. Okay. Any comments, questions from staff? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance 785, series 2025, an ordinance of the town of Memphis amending various provisions of chapter 7, article 7 of the Memphis Municipal Code concerning cameras.
Second.
Ooh, we have a motion in 2
I
seconds.
think it was 3.
Oh, maybe even 3. Okay. Will the clerk please call the vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Brendan Ritter.
Hi.
Trustee Andres Esparza.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Hennett.
Aye.
Trustee McManning.
Aye.
Trustee Lee.
All right. Thank you all. I think that was the first time we ever passed the animal ordinance without a giant fight. So
There's nobody.
congratulations.
Thank you for that.
There's nobody here to be mad at us either.
Yeah. We're not mad at each other. Nobody's
Gerald
here.
could.
Yeah, I don't know. Gerald, do you want to let loose on us? I don't know. All right. So then the trustee protocols have been moved to our workshop, our next workshop. All right, so let me get through those. So the next item is turf and weed maintenance request for proposals.
So we have been talking about turf and weed maintenance throughout the town for a while now. And currently, Cottonwood Park is being treated by a contractor, organically. And that contractor has been working for the town for over 5 years. So we've talked about potentially putting it out to bid to see what else is out there. And so what I've done and what I'm asking for your feedback on is I've come up with kind of a draft request for proposals that the staff would be publishing. And when I say I shouldn't say I should say Carrie and I have been working on this. In the request for proposals, it is solely for Cottonwood Park. We're not asking for anything else at this point because we are kind of planning to major rebid of Royal Park over the next few years.
Right.
So we're just going to not make any changes there at this point. So what I'm looking for is your feedback. And I did ask for both organic and traditional treatment options. That way, anybody who wishes to provide a proposal can provide whatever they want to provide to us. And nothing stops the current contractor from resubmitting a proposal. So I'm looking for some feedback from you all or some input. Is there anything you want to change? Anything you want me to really highlight? Do you want to go solely organic? Do you want to go solely traditional? Are you fine with both? I'm just looking for some feedback from you all if you have it.
Yeah,
If you're happy with here, then
I mean, I think the organic traditional is a big one. I think based on community feedback, people appreciate having something that is not traditionally treated, and the dog park just makes a lot of sense. So, you know, you could open it up to both, but maybe stating that our preference and historically it's been organic would just save some people a lot of time to not put in knowing that like we might go for organic or maybe we won't. I don't know. I don't know what everybody wants, but it seems like folks in the community appreciate that option.
Remind me the cost difference. Is there a way to do an apples to apples on, like, you know, per acre treatment? Like, do we have a comparative?
what we have is just what it costs for cottonwood versus what it costs for oil. Cottonwood is $6,500 or somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000 a year for the organic. Boyle Park is $1,200 or $1,500 a year, maybe $2,000. So,
Okay.
and that's why I figured asking for both.
Yeah.
And I will make a note, I'll add a little bit more detail to say if it's, historically organic, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's why I figured if we ask for both, that gives you exactly
Yeah,
what you're looking
the
for when we
data.
get the proposals.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So,
And success rates too, because,
Sure.
if we spend $6,000, we want to see something change.
Well, and
you know?
I like how it does lay out that scope of work includes pre and post treatment photos, because that's something that we've been asking for years at Cottonwood and we've never received.
Yeah.
So I want that part of the contract because I want to have those so that we can actually see, is this working? What's the timeline of things working over there, and year to year we can look at that too and see if we continue with organic, is it making a difference over there and what we want it to do, or is it something that might need something different for treatment. We won't know that till we actually have that. We're not over there every day looking, and that's something I also think that you have a question here, is a mandatory walkthrough necessary? I think it is.
Yes.
Because we need to be able to show them what we're working with. And, this is a little bit different than some proposals that people have where, it might be a report or something that they're putting together, whereas this is a actual boots on the ground operation that we need to be able to show them what we're looking for.
Yeah, I agree. They need to know what they're getting into. Anything else? Okay.
So I will make a mandatory walkthrough requirement prior to bid, and I will make sure that I make a note that Cottonwood Park has historically been treated with it. I'll print those words up and then Terry and I will work on getting that.
Yeah.
And then once we receive the bids, it will come back to you all for review and discussion.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
All right, moving on. What? No, we don't need a motion. And you got all the information that you felt like you needed from us? Okay. Sorry, I should probably ask. All right. Next item up for discussion is the CIP program, hopefully approval. And I just want to take a minute to make a statement. I commend our forward-thinking staff for seeing our community's need for this kind of an intervention program. I know the whole defund the police got a bad rap, but this is pretty much what we're talking about with that. And I think it provides such a fantastic service to a part of our population that, struggles with the norms that society sets. And so I just wanted to commend staff for their thoughtful investment of time and effort creating this program, helping create the program, and now potentially, depending on the vote, running the program. I think it really speaks well of our Marshals Department and our administrative staff for really pulling together on this and asking us to fully support it. So, or at least have our full support. And I just think it's a real benefit to the area. And so I just wanted to, tell you that, pass it along to everybody on staff that was involved in helping get this going. Really appreciate it. All right. Anything that you want to say? I see our marshal had to take off.
So what we've done is we have, and I've included all the MOUs and stuff, I did use my administrative discretion because we did not have a board meeting after, at the end of December. So I did use my administrative discretion to enter into some MOUs. The project is continuing unchanged, and it is funded through July 1, 2025 to allow us to figure out how we move. Access did an amazing job pivoting quickly. Cortez Fire did an amazing job pivoting quickly. Travis Anderson at Montezuma County was incredibly gracious, took time out of his schedule, met with me. The commissioners agreed to transfer the title for the vehicle and the equipment that's being used for this program. So everybody really came together to keep it going after 12/31 of 2024. And so what we've done is we've kind of funded it all. I deliberately left the MOUs. There's language in the MOUs that allows us to either cancel or change with short notice, so that if something comes up in the next 6 months, we still have a little bit of leeway if we miss something, because we're moving relatively quickly. We did meet with Justin and I met with Axis and Cortez Fire yesterday to talk about kind of boots on the ground stuff, vests and fuel cards and that kind of stuff. Right now, the program is continuing as is through June 30th. In the meantime, we've all kind of assigned roles. Justin is going to be meeting with the people, the staff members of the program and that kind of thing. He's going to be looking into potentially events for fundraising. Haley and I are money people, so we've met with Onward to see if, we want to set something up. So there are still things that are up in the air, but it has been a priority. You've all been very clear with me for a couple of years now. So we have done our best to get it. We're good through June 30th, which allows us then to kind of regroup and figure out. And then once we know that this is how we're going to move forward, and once we are confident that we've covered everything and we've had some time to breathe, not only will we continue to look for grant funding and potential fundraising with Onward, but then our next goal, my next goal, is figuring out how to make this sustainable. What we historically do here at the town is we will take on and assume ownership for projects. We did that with the Magus Farmers Market. We did that with the Magus Creative District. The town starts out, and we'll be talking about maybe the Magus Gear Share next time. But what we do is we work with citizens and we work with groups, and we say, you know what, we'll help you. We'll own it for 3 years. We'll help you figure it out. And then after 3 to 5 years, we'll kick you out of the nest and you're on your own. And it's worked well. The farmers market's still going, the creative district is really bad. So that's kind of what we're looking at potentially doing here is now that we all have some time to breathe and figure things out, ultimately the goal is to make it sustainable so that it can run on itself.
Yeah. And I think it's really neat too that the other entities have agreed to provide us with the equipment that was purchased for it and stuff, because it would be really hard to do it without that. So.
And it was, like I said, it was, the end of the year is crazy for all of us. So it was really, I just think it was really great how everybody came together and really made the time in their schedules and made it happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's so I'm looking, what I wanted you to know was I used my discretion to sign these MOUs, so I'm asking for retroactive approval. I don't usually do that, but again, and then, even if you approve these tonight, if you change your mind and don't want this program, we'll just let it expire on June 30th. But it also then gives us some time to work with the staff that are involved in that.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I don't see that happening, but I do want you to know you're not trapped by the fact that I went rogue and signed MOUs at the end of December. So, that's kind of where we are. So I'm happy to answer any questions, or if I don't have the information tonight, I will absolutely.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Well, now you get to find out if we have your back. So I would look for right. So I would look for a motion.
I move to approve the executed MOU with Axis Health, Cortez Fire, and Montezuma County, and the grant award in the amount of $77,548 from SWORD and for the Community Intervention Program, and I authorize the town administrator to continue allocating time and effort for this program. I also would like to suggest that we help seed the new program through Onward with a donation of $10,000.
And I would look for a second.
Second.
All right. So we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem McWhorter and a second by Trustee Hennick. So will the clerk please call the vote?
And are we voting on the 10,000 as well then?
Yes. Yeah. Part of the motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Brett McWhorter.
Aye.
Trustee Andres Esparza.
Aye.
Trustee Daniel Hennick.
Aye.
Trustee Nick Manning.
Aye.
Trustee David Finley.
Thank you all so much. My next steps will be filling out the application. Haley and I will be filling out the application onward, and we'll see that fund.
Great.
We'll keep you all posted. Justin has some really great ideas for fundraising. So we figure we'll kick it off for, again, a couple of years. So we'll keep you posted. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, yeah.
We appreciate the quick move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm continually impressed with our staff's ability to quickly pivot. Y'all did an amazing job during the COVID thing and this, and it's really cool. You're welcome. All right, so our next item is items for the January 22nd, 2025 meeting. And I believe we already moved the trustee protocols to the workshop. So we have determined our topic. And then we have a consent agenda that will consist of minutes from tonight, Mancos Creative District update, Mancos Valley Chamber update, and Mancos School District update. Does anybody?
I moved the Mancos School District update because we got one tonight.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to.
Should have the planning commission.
Yeah, and we should also have planning commission probably on
For that one.
because they'll be meeting next week. So
And then you have the presentation from the CEO of Southwest Hill.
Yes. And an ordinance to amend zoning.
Right.
does anyone have any other topics that they would like to have? Okay. All right. And then I guess anything that comes up between now and then that we need to deal with.
I'll send you the agenda. Anything comes up, we'll see it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So I have a question. Do we want to discuss the 60% discretion clause in all zones? Are you all fine with it being for zone? I didn't know if there was any uncertainty in that or if you wanted to discuss it.
I'll just jump right in. I think that it's a good thing to have that because zoning is not about what's currently there, it's what you want to see there in the future. And I think a lot of thought was put into our zones and over the years, and I think that we need to make sure that people are adhering to the zones. I mean, the plan has been in place for a number of years. Everybody that owned property before it went in had their chance to talk about it. And people buying properties now or wanting to develop should be very aware of it. And it's great when the system works like it did with Clara, you know. I'm sure it was like a rough road for her because, what do you mean I can't, you know, but I think that we need to make sure that our zoning is actually doing what we wanted it to do. So
yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I was pushing so hard. Like the zoning should be a difficult thing to change.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Any other comments? All right. Well, then our next item on the agenda is executive session. And I would entertain a motion to enter executive session.
I make a motion to go into executive session for a conference with the town attorney for purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses B, regarding water diversion location discussion.
Do we have a second for the motion? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Do I read this now, or do we have to monkey around
Before we
with?
turn everything off, I believe there's something that we read, and Dave agrees that.
Okay. Okay. We do these so rarely. It's always like, ah. All right. It is January 8th, 2025, and the time is 7:54. For the record, I, Cindy Simpson, am the presiding officer of mayor. And as required by the open meetings law, this executive session is not being electronically recorded. Also present at this executive session are the following persons: Mayor Pro Tem Brent McWhorter, Trustee Nick Manning, Trustee Daniel Hennick, not that one, Trustee Andres Esparza, Trustee David Payton, Town Attorney David Lieberman, Town Administrator Heather Alvarez, Public Works Director James Jennings, Terry, and Town Clerk and Treasurer Jamie Higgins. And do we need to have Olivia leave, or did she get to stay? Okay.
Executive sessions, we unfortunately can't have anybody here but board and staff and whoever applies to, so I apologize.
So you get to go.
It's fine.
Yeah. Escape quickly while you can.
Yeah.
She will stay.
No.
This is an executive session for the following purpose: for a conference with the town attorney for purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24-6-402, parens 4, parens B, regarding water diversion location discussion. I caution each participant to confine all discussion to the stated purpose of the executive session, and that no formal action may occur in the executive session. If at any point in the executive session any participant believes that the discussion is going outside the proper scope of the executive session, please interrupt the discussion and make an objection. David, I believe you have an announcement?
I don't, for the record, I don't think we need to keep a quorum for executive session.
Okay. I have another announcement before we turn it off. The town attorney has recommended that no further record be kept of this executive session. The time is now 7:56,